I'm Perrin Alford, the Provost of West Georgia Technical College. This morning we're talking to Kevin Kane. Kevin is the Director of Institutional Advancement at the college. Good morning. I'm Perrin Alford, the Provost of West Georgia Technical College here in LaGrange. This morning we're talking with Kevin Kane, and Kevin is the Director of he's Director of Institutional Advancement. I have education on my brain this morning, but
that's okay.
Kevin is Director of Institutional Advancement at the college, and Kevin's been with the college for over a decade now, so Kevin has a good history at the college and has held several positions while he's been at West Georgia Tech. So Kevin, as I do with all our guests who are on the program, we always start off and I ask you to tell the viewing audience out there a little bit about Kevin, what your background is, where you were born, how you got into technical education, maybe even a little bit about your work background before you got into education. Like me, I know you're not a full-time educator. The minute you left, I think you went to LaGrange College and graduated. So anyway, just tell the folks a little bit about Kevin so when they come on campus or if they have an opportunity to work with you, they'll know a little bit more about Kevin.
Okay. I'm pretty much a lifelong LaGrange resident. I've lived here, I guess, a little over 40 years. I am a Troop High graduate, and from Troop High School I went and attended LaGrange College where I graduated and worked my way through college. As a matter of fact, worked at Mansewers, sold a lot of shoes when I was at Mansewers. And upon graduating from LaGrange College, I graduated with a degree in business and a minor in marketing, and from there spent about 11 or 12 years with a local Fortune 500 company, Interface Flooring Systems. And not too many years after leaving Interface, I joined West Georgia Technical College. As a matter of fact, my intro at West Georgia Tech was when you called me one day and asked me if I would be one of the members of your marketing advisory committee.
I remember that well.
And after spending quite a few quarters attending some of the advisory committee meetings, West Georgia Tech caught my eye, so to speak, and inquired and made it known to some of the personnel at West Georgia Tech that I would have an interest should an opening come about. And an opening did come about, and I began West Georgia Tech about 12 years ago, which is hard to believe, as the Director of Adult Ed, which was a very eye-opening experience, and didn't realize there were that many people that were in need of their GED. And I'm very proud to say that we provide, I think, an incredible service and have an incredible GED program for those seeking that diploma, and change a lot of lives literally. If you've never been to a GED graduation, I encourage you to attend one. They are open to the public, and it's a very humbling experience. A lot of people who have a lot of self-doubt prove something to themselves that they can in fact achieve a diploma, walk across the stage, which they've never done before. And then what we encourage them to do is hopefully, upon earning their GED, is to come back to West Georgia Tech and enroll in one of our credit programs. But I was in the adult ed program for about 6 years and then joined our marketing division. And when I was the Director of Marketing, this was prior to West Georgia Tech going through a merger, which was about 3 years ago. Upon merging with West Central Tech in Carrollton, I retained that title, so to speak, as a Director of Marketing, but that role expanded somewhat to the Director of Institutional Advancement, which is a little more encompassing than the Director of Marketing. So it's been a very enjoyable ride at West Georgia Tech, and hope to be there for many more years. A lot of exciting things happening now at West Georgia Tech. We're the second largest technical college in the state, which is, I think, something to be very, very proud of. We have a lot of students and just a lot of exciting things happening at West Georgia Tech right now.
Okay, before we move on to get into the really nuts and bolts and specifics of advancement, a very fascinating story that I want you to just briefly touch on for a minute or two about when you were in adult ed and over the GED program about a very interesting, very unique gentleman that entered your program and eventually completed his GED. Briefly, because this is a fascinating story.
Okay, you know what? You caught me off guard. I'm gonna have to. Hopefully, his name is going to come to me. For the that was about 6 years ago, I think. This was a 96-year-old gentleman. I never will forget. I came back to my office one day after coming back from lunch, and my assistant had put one of those telephone message notes on the pink message notes on my desk, saying that a gentleman was interested in getting his GED. His daughter called on his behalf, and by the way, he's 96. And I thought.
And you did say 96.
That is correct, 96. Okay. And I thought, you know, this is unbelievable. We'll probably never hear from this gentleman. And it so happens that it was about a week later when they just showed up. And he was very hard of hearing and had very difficult seeing, and so he was accompanied by his daughter. And he had failed Latin in high school and was going to take Latin the summer after he graduated. And the class didn't take. There weren't enough students, so the class never was created. So he never went back. Hence, he never got his high school diploma. And his daughter went on to be very successful. She was a nurse. This gentleman's wife was a registered nurse. And they were sitting around the kitchen table one day, and the daughter told her dad that he just needed to go back and get his GED, just because, for yet another accomplishment in his very storied life. And so they decided to come back and get his GED, or at least work towards doing that. And one of our instructors really took him under his wing. He was just an incredible gentleman. He was a living history.
Walking history.
Walking history, walking geography, and everything had to be read to him because he could not read due to his eyesight. And you had to speak louder than normal because of his hearing impairment. But we went through some practice. The GED exam was a 5-part exam, and we went through some of the different subject matters and felt as though he was ready with not a whole lot of preparation. And while we were going through this process, I emailed our office in Atlanta, the system office for the technical college system, and said, I think we really have a story brewing here. We have a 96-year-old gentleman working to get his GED. So they emailed back and said, well, keep us informed, let us know how it's going. And so he took his first subject matter, which I think was science, passed with flying colors, and continued on the other 4 subjects. And as incredible as it was for him to achieve this, due to not only his age, but the impairments that he had, keep in mind that one of the subject matters is math, and you're able to, the math segment of the GED exam is a 2-part exam. The first part you can use a calculator. The second part you can't. Well, because of his eyesight, he couldn't use the calculator. And so as he went through the math portion and he had to have a proctor read the exam to him, he asked for assistance one time on the calculator to check the math answer that he had come upon in his head.
Right.
And so he passed all 5 parts. Word made it to Washington, D.C., to the National GED Testing Center. It was determined based on their record keeping that he was the oldest ever in the U.S. to earn his GED. They sent down a representative from Washington, D.C. We had a special ceremony for him, just him and his family. There was about 75 people here. And he wore his cap and gown, and his teacher walked him into the room with all of his family there, and he got a standing ovation. And the commissioner of the technical college system came down to congratulate him. It was an unbelievable reception we had for him. And he was determined to walk, this was in December of about 6 years ago. January was when the actual graduation ceremony took place. He was determined to walk across the stage to get his GED diploma, which he did. We had U.S. Congressman Phil Gingrey as our keynote speaker at that graduation ceremony. And he met him as he was coming across the stage and had a very brief impromptu discussion on the stage. We just sort of stopped the ceremony. And as he was talking with Phil Gingrey, he reminded him that he had lived through 18 presidents. So it was just an incredible experience. It was covered on CNN. It was covered on CNN International. They came to our campus here in LaGrange to interview, and his name still escapes me, and that's embarrassing. But I
well, that was 6 years ago. But
it's terrible. And unfortunately, he and his wife both have since passed away. But what an incredible experience that was to meet this gentleman and to see his determination to get his GED after about 80 years of being out of high school. Right. And what an accomplishment.
Right. So I would just say that not only is West Georgia Technical College a associate degree, a diploma, and a certificate degree granting institution, we also are heavily involved in adult ed and GED. Sometimes folks might not know that. A few other quick things about the adult ed program at West Georgia Tech. A student can come in, all those classes are free. That's still correct, is it not?
That is correct.
So if you do not have your high school diploma for whatever reason, you can come to West Georgia Technical College. You can take all your classes, and they are absolutely free of charge. There is, unfortunately, I think, a $95 fee still in place that you have to pay to take the GED exam. Is that still correct?
That is correct, and there even are discussions of fairly significantly increasing the cost of the GED exam. So if there's anyone out there who is considering coming to the adult ed program to earn their GED, I would encourage them to come as soon as they can to avoid the increased cost. And it is a very significant program at West Georgia Tech. It seems as though we have somewhere around 3,000 students in the GED program. So it's a very extensive program and a lot of caring instructors that will help them go through the process to earn their diploma.
Right, and we have adult ed programs on all of our campuses. So if you're in Douglasville, Carrollton, Coweta, Newnan, LaGrange, any of those spots that you might be residing, we have those classes available to you free of charge. Very, very important. Anyway, Kevin and myself have been chit-chatting a little bit about adult ed this morning so far, but when we come back, we're going to really get into the institutional advancement part of Kevin's career at West Georgia Tech, what it is, why it's important, what it does, what the funds are used for to help the college. So we'll be right back after this break.
You've got that ideal career in mind. Well, West Georgia Technical College specializes in preparing you for great careers. Call today and find out how we can help you fit education into your busy lifestyle.
I'm Perrin Alford, Provost of West Georgia Technical College here in LaGrange, and this morning we're talking to Kevin Kane, and Kevin is the Director of Institutional Advancement. So Kevin, for the next few minutes, let's really dig into institutional advancement. That sounds like a mighty important thing, institutional advancement. Tell our viewing audience what that is and a little bit about institutional advancement.
Be happy to, and by the way, we think it's important.
It is important.
Institutional advancement is a sort of a broad description in terms of West Georgia Tech's definition. It includes overseeing our website, our foundation, all the marketing and public relation efforts at West Georgia Tech, all of the press releases, special events that take place at West Georgia Tech, all fall under the umbrella of institutional advancement. And I guess the easiest way to label what we do is we support and enhance the vision and mission of West Georgia Technical College, either, again, through marketing and public relation efforts, special events, or directing potential donors to make donations to the foundation, which is the financial supporter of West Georgia Tech.
Okay, so basically it sounds like to me that you are in the business of raising additional funds to help the college, and of course there's some other peripheral stuff you talked about, marketing and stuff like that. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, if someone said, well, institutional advancement is still what? It's really a money-raising, fundraising arm of the college. Would that be a fair statement?
That is a fair statement, and that's done either through a direct effort to raise funds, or that's done through, I guess, what you consider to be an indirect effort, and that is to continually keep West Georgia Tech in front of people through the use of billboards, through the use of newspaper ads and articles, radio and TV ads, any type of promotional effort that we can take on, again, to continue to keep the name of West Georgia Technical College in front of the 7-county community that we serve, to hopefully encourage potential students to consider West Georgia Tech either upon graduating from high school or to come back to enhance a skill which would perhaps help them either get a job or help them to enhance their existing position at a current job.
Okay, now that's very interesting, because I can tell that you're no longer in your 20s, as neither of us are at this point, sadly. But anyway, it's interesting. You talked about what I would consider traditional kind of marketing venues or opportunities. What about the web? Do we do anything with the World Wide Web?
We do a lot with the World Wide Web. We have, of course, a homepage, www.westgatech.edu,
okay.
Which someone can navigate and find, or navigate through and find out all types of things out about West Georgia Tech, either our academic calendar, a director of our faculty. They can find out about all the existing programs that we have at West Georgia Technical College. They can find out about current events that are taking place at West Georgia Tech, special events that are on the horizon at West Georgia Tech.
Can they find out foundational events that are taking place on the World Wide Web?
They certainly can, if we're doing our job, which we certainly try to do on a daily basis, to update our web page to include, as you said, we have an event coming up in a couple of weeks that is a West Georgia Tech Foundation sponsored event that they can find out all types of information about, not only what it's going to be about, but how to purchase tickets, as an example.
Okay. Now, give us some specifics of ways or strategies or events or whatever that you utilize to help raise funds.
Well, we have an event coming up 2 weeks from tomorrow, as a matter of fact, January 27th. It will be held in Douglasville, which is an event that we are really excited about. It is a casino night, which we've held several of those. Those listening to us in LaGrange are hopefully familiar with a couple of casino nights that we held out at the Highland Country Club. This casino night is called Celebrity Casino Royale. It was developed as a result of a brainstorming session, if you will, with several of the people in our division, and all the proceeds from this benefit, or all the proceeds from this event, will benefit West Georgia Tech athletics. And a lot of times when we say West Georgia Tech athletics, we get eyebrows raised. Athletics at West Georgia Tech. Yes, we do have athletics at West Georgia Tech. It's a relatively young program or division, but it is one that is growing very, very rapidly. We have men's baseball, men's and women's basketball, women's volleyball, just announced women's fast-pitch softball, and we also have cheerleading.
Also have a men's baseball team.
Men's baseball. I'm sorry if I left that out. I'm sorry, I apologize. Men's baseball. And the Celebrity Casino Royale, all the proceeds will benefit West Georgia Tech athletics. And because we chose to direct the money towards athletics, we decided, or felt like it would be a really good idea, to see if we could not invite a whole host of sports notables or celebrity sports figures, if you will, which we have been very fortunate to, in fact, secure quite a few very famous sports personnel.
I saw on our webpage it looked like Vince and Barbara Dooley are on our webpage.
Vince and Barbara Dooley are on our webpage. If you click on our website, if you'll wait just a moment, if it doesn't immediately come up, you'll see a picture of Vince and Barbara Dooley. We had a great time about a month ago actually going to Vince and Barbara Dooley's house in Athens, and that was filmed in their sunroom, and they were sitting on their sofa. And it's a very brief promotional video encouraging people to come and buy tickets and attend the Celebrity Casino Royale. Now,
will they be at the event?
Vince and Barbara Dooley are going to speak at a corporate sponsored dinner prior to the actual event. That's going to start at 5 p.m. For those corporate sponsors, they will be treated to some thoughts from Vince and Barbara Dooley. In addition to those two, we will have Freddie Gonzalez, the Atlanta Braves manager, Roger McDowell, which is the Atlanta Braves pitching coach. We'll have Andrew Jones, which is a former Brave, but is now a New York Yankee baseball player. He will be there. Billy White Shoes Johnson, a real throwback to the Atlanta Falcon fans of quite a few years ago. And a current Atlanta Falcon football player, Ovi Mahaley, will be there. He was on the injured list, but is now back in the saddle. I don't think he's able to play yet, but he will be there. And we also have the Georgia Tech women's softball coach, Sharon Perkins, will be there. So it is a great lineup. It's going to be a great night for folks that are autograph fans to get some autographs from these folks. Once the corporate dinner is over from 5 to 6, the individual ticket holders can come to the event at 6 o'clock, where we'll have heavy hors d'oeuvres. We will have a lot of gaming tables set up. It's going to look like a Las Vegas type atmosphere. And in addition to that, we will have a very impressive array of silent auction items that people can bid on. A lot of sports memorabilia that's been autographed by a whole array of baseball, football, basketball players. So it's we're looking forward to a really fun night. Again, it's in 2 weeks in Douglasville.
Okay, 2 weeks in Douglasville. It's a fundraiser to raise money to help support athletic programs.
West Georgia Tech athletics.
Okay. What else do we do? Do we have golf tournaments? Do we have stuff like that we try to raise money for the foundation?
We do. We have. We just held our first annual golf tournament about 4 or 5 months ago for our baseball program. It was very, very successful. That too was held in. Actually, that was in Villa Rica, I believe.
Right,
the golf tournament. Another, probably the crown jewel, if you will, of fundraising events at West Georgia Tech. We just celebrated our 10th anniversary last year. Is something called Black Tie and Boots. It is a concert that we typically have a country western type flair. Last year we had Gary Allen. The year before that, Josh Turner. The year before that, Blake Shelton. We've had Sarah Evans, Jody Messina. So we've been very fortunate to have some very popular country stars come. It's typically held the first weekend in August on our Waco campus. And as we speak, we are looking at 3 or 4 different country stars for this year. We have not confirmed that yet, so I can't disclose who's going to be coming to Waco in August of this year. But it is a huge event. A lot of people show up in their tuxedo jackets and ties and their blue jeans and their cowboy boots, and they come out for a great dinner and a great show by a country star. And again, looking forward to this year. We always anticipate about this time of year who the star is going to be, and we just don't know who that's going to be yet. Right.
Now, so far to help raise these funds, we've talked about external, like I would call them stakeholders. What about internal stakeholders? Do we ask any of our employees if they will also support the foundation? Do we have internal campaigns, is I guess my question. Tell us a little bit about that, if that is such a thing.
Yes, we do. If we're going to ask our community partners to help support West Georgia Technical College through their financial efforts, we also turn internally, as you just said. We have an employee campaign each year. It is typically kicked off in May, and we try to attach a theme to it to make it fun. Last year, or the year before last, was a beach theme. I'm trying to remember what last year was. It eludes me all of a sudden. But nonetheless, we come up with a theme, and there are some incentives involved depending on the level that each employee donates. In return, they receive some type of small gift, again, to encourage participation. And again, we realize if we're going to turn to the public to ask for their financial support, we certainly have to look within. And we have typically each year we have a very, very successful employee campaign. And like I said, we'll be starting that up in just a couple of months in May.
Okay. So as we come to the closing seconds of our program here, I think that the takeaways from our talk this morning is, one, that West Georgia Technical College does have a very active and successful institutional advancement team. Dawn Cook's the vice president. Kevin works for Dawn. All of that team works together and puts on fundraising events throughout the year where we ask our external stakeholders to help us out raise some funds for either scholarships for needy students or athletic gear and peripherals associated with our sporting programs. Also ask our internal stakeholders, our employees, to help out, and they do so graciously each year. And of course, that money is put into the pot for scholarships to help needy students for a multitude of reasons that might not have enough money to cover all the tuition and books and stuff associated with going to the technical college. So very important part of our college is the institutional advancement arm of our college, and Kevin and Dawn and all the group does a fantastic job. So as we conclude, 2 weeks from tonight, is that correct?
2 weeks from tomorrow.
Not tonight, I'm sorry, 2 weeks
from tomorrow.
Tomorrow night.
January 27th.
Having our Casino Royale in Douglasville. For more information on that, you can call the Institutional Advancement Office at the main number here in LaGrange, and we can help get you in contact with Kevin and his group of folks. That number is 706-845-4323. You can always reach us via the web, which is www.westgatech.edu. So westgatech.edu. Kevin, thanks this morning for coming in and telling us a little bit about institutional advancement. We could go on and spend many more minutes talking about advancement and all the good stuff that you and your team do. This is Perrin Alford, Provost of West Georgia Technical College, and thank you for watching Technically Speaking.
You've got that ideal career in mind. Well, West Georgia Technical College specializes in preparing you for great careers. Call today and find out how we can help you fit education into your busy lifestyle.